before, have I?
Hello everybody and welcome to The Good, The Bad, The Score. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Collin.
And today we are doing something a little bit more special today here on our show. We're going to review Cats.
The 2019 live action sort of adaptation.
Yeah.
Whew.
So
Andrew, where do we begin?
Yeah, so where do we begin indeed? So I'll give a little background about Cats. So Cats came out in the December of 2019. It came out Christmas Day, holiday week, whatever you want to call it. And it's an adaptation of the classic Broadway musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. This was a big classic Broadway show. People loved it and praised it. I don't know why, but when I went to go see this, I had to know what people were crazy about. And in this movie, you got a whole bunch of cats singing and dancing, bunch of CGI characters that are motion captured. I don't know why, but you got this whole cats having this festival, and yeah, it's a bunch of singing, dancing cats doing poetry and stuff. Yeah, that's that. And in the movie, there's this female cat. It's a new actress. It's played by Francesca Hayward. Hayward. If I pronounce, I don't know. Okay, yeah. But it's played by her. And all these cats, when I'm watching it, are seducing her. They're really trying to flirt with her and do something. That's all they do. They just flirt with her in this whole movie. Yeah.
I'm so glad you
When I mean
described
everyone wants to hook up with this cat.
It's a pretty horny movie.
Yeah, it is.
Just for I'll pepper in some plot details. I'm glad you went because that's exactly what I would have said. But for the more technical things, so the main character you talk about is named Victoria, played by Francesca Hayward. She is a new cat in town, and the whole idea is that it's all in the alleyways, and all these cats are going and getting ready for the Angelical Ball.
Angelical Ball, yeah.
The Angelical Ball, where you'll have Old Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench. She is the kind of the head of this cat club, the Angelicals, whatever you want to call it, because both you can be an angelical cat, you can be the Angelical, and the Angelical Ball. There's a lot of vocabulary that just doesn't make sense, and they don't really do a good job explaining it. So the whole idea is that all these cats are trying to perform and become the Angelical one, where they will be going up in heaven and being able to have a restart in life. Along the way, you have McCassidy, played by Idris Elba. He is the little Thanos snapper who snaps people away to an abandoned ship. He wants to be the Angelical cat, but he doesn't have the skills to. I don't know. He's evil. But then along the way, there's a bunch of dancing, singing, random character introductions, which we'll get into. But oh boy. I would say how we'll start this is, Andrew, give a little backstory, because as this movie came out in December, it's just been released on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Andrew, give me your insight on the first time you saw Cats.
Well, the first time I saw Cats, I didn't want to see Cats. I had no interest in seeing this movie. But when I saw it had a 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it had to be good. It had to be good with a rating like that. So I see this movie, And the beginning of it was probably my favorite part of the movie. I love the beginning. I like how it starts off.
Okay,
right?
we're starting off with some good things. Okay, we're going to start off with the good.
Yeah, I'll start with the good things
Yeah.
I like about Cats. I think the beginning's really good. First, and also, too, the movie's directed by Tom Hooper. Tom Hooper has directed some really great movies in the past. He did The King's Speech. He did 2012's Les Miserables. And one of my most favorites that Tom Hooper has done, he directed the HBO miniseries John Adams with Paul Giamatti and Laura Linney.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that is a great show. I totally recommend anyone who's listening and watching to go check it out. Especially during right now, we're all in quarantine. It's a really great miniseries, and I think, to my opinion, that is my favorite work that Tom Hooper's done. And what I like about Tom Hooper, I think, from watching Les Miserables and a lot of his movies, he's very ambitious. He's ambitious with his style of filmmaking. I like the chance he takes with it. I loved what he did with Les Miserables. I thought the live singing was great. Heck, I liked Russell Crowe in it. But I liked what he did with that. And I was very curious to see what he was going to do with Cats. So I love the beginning of Cats, like I just said. The beginning's good, it has a good opening, and that's it. The whole movie is.
We'll get into the negatives.
All right.
There,
oh wait,
but...
I'll say this too.
Just say all
I
the
love the
positives
set
first.
design. The set design's good. It has a great set. I think Tom Hooper's vision is very good. I think he gives an ambitious portrayal of the movie. Instead of using practical costumes, he uses CGI, motion capture. And, it's ambitious, so I give him props for that. But that's pretty much my good about Cats.
I have a couple more things to say good, which some of them will surprise you. One thing you did say, Andrew, is that this is an ambitious movie. Ambitious in Hollywood is something of a rarity these days. A movie like this, while it plays it safe, is like it's based off a property, it's a Broadway musical. The technology they used, like the fur technologies they had on it, the designs of the cats, it's a big risk that clearly didn't pay off. But you could say this is an ambitious movie. One thing which I need to clarify when I say it, I think the CGI on this movie looks great. Not the designs of the characters, the CGI, the fur. The animators had to go in and make sure all the fur looked realistic. The set, like the backgrounds, it looks like they're actually there and all that. That CGI, like the quality of it, is really high end. Mind you, there's some more to that. I can't say it's completely 100% great because there are some butt ugly characters. Even when I say there's some really abysmal designs in this movie that both the CGI, like it doesn't even look like they have fur. It seems like they're in low res. We'll get to that, but for the most part, I give a lot of credit to the animators that were hired for this movie and made it look very much like the fur realistic. Also, and this is probably the biggest positive I can give this movie, the cinematography is fantastic. This really makes it look like an epic. The shots they get, the backgrounds they have, it really looks like a piece of art. Again, take aside the
cinematography is good.
Yeah, the cinematography is fantastic. It's surprising. I'm glad I saw it in theaters because it looked epic for those couple moments where you had a really good shot on it. Then finally, and this is just kind of like a throwaway, the performance, the singing and dancing, it was cool. I can't even say that. Aside from one character, I think everyone did a good vocal performance and dancing and all that. But transitioning into the negative, every time I want to give this movie props, it completely backs on it and makes me go, okay, never mind, you just screwed it up. One of the things going on, the singing, is Rebel Wilson. She is horrible in this movie. Not only her singing, her acting, her jokes, she is the least funny thing I've seen in a while. Not saying Rebel Wilson's not a funny comedian or actress. Just in this one, they gave her the most cringe-worthy puns. Don't mess with the crazy cat lady. Stop being cocky. You're milking it. How many times did you go into a child's book of rhymes or whatever you want to call it, of puns, and say, okay, cats, they like to purr, milk, meow, so on. Don't be cocky with the cockroaches. I can go on much more of my negatives, but Andrew, I want you to start with your negatives right now as well.
Okay, the movie. There are movies that when they do adaptations of musicals that are meant for the big screen, and there are movies that are not. And Cats is one of them. It was not meant to be made for the big screen. It was just not. This movie is terrible. I tried watching this the second time this morning, and I had to stop at the last 15-minute mark. It's bad. I can't stand it. It's so boring. When I saw this the first time, I fell half asleep through this movie. That is the second movie I've ever fell asleep in a movie theater since Blade Runner 2049. This movie, Cats...
Wait, stop you right there. You gotta say, Blade Runner 2049 is a better movie.
Oh, no, it's a good movie, but it's boring as hell. But I think it's a better made movie.
I digress. Let's talk about Cats.
But Cats is just... It's bad. It's not good. The CGI was a terrible idea. I give him Tom Hooper props for the ambitious idea of it. It doesn't work for this movie. It looks terrible. When they dance, it looks like I'm watching a video game. That's what it looks like. It's like you're watching a video game and they're just dancing around. It just looks bad. I mean, God, there's just some really bad CGI parts. The part where Rebel Wilson is singing, you have those little mice. It looks terrible. It just looks so noticeable. And that whole scene is bad too. I mean, the jokes just makes you feel uncomfortable. It's just like, oh my God, like, it's just so cringeworthy when they do all the jokes and all the silly, stupid stuff. Like James Corden's like eating trash. He's eating like all this crap in the dumpsters. It's just so dumb. But another problem I have with this movie too is the music. The music is so outdated. It's so 90s. Like, they should have, like, went to Andrew Lloyd Webber and, like, listen, I think it's best that we try to update this music and try to modern the music a little bit more. Add some rap, hip-hop. I mean, they could have just made that different. And if the music was way more upgraded, I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot better, but it's so old. Like, it's just an old musical to do it, and I think they could have done something a little bit more to take a spin off of it. And again, this, like, the lead actress, played by Francesca Hayward, she does nothing in this movie except facial expressions. That's just all she does. Faces. She just gives all these facial expressions. That's all she does. That's all she does in this freaking movie. That's all she does. And all the cats want to hook up with her. They're all sniffing her butt. They're all... I know. Why is this a PG movie? It's like not for kids. And kids are gonna hate this movie. It's torture. And I like the cast. I think the cast did a fine job. And the movie was just dumb. Should not have done CGI. I think we're getting too much carried away with the technology now. It's taking away from all the great things we loved about movies years ago, which was practical effects, the sets, but most importantly, the costumes. I would not have had a problem if they just wore costumes instead of just make them look terrible computer-generated characters. And the movie felt like an animated film to me. It felt like I was watching an animated film half the time. So... this is a real disappointment to Tom Hooper. I like a lot of his work. I do agree with you, Con. His style of cinematography is great. I always like what he does with it after a lot of his films and works that I've seen. But man, this movie is hard to sit through. It's funny at times. I feel like this is a good drunk movie to watch. You should watch this movie if you're drunk or high or whatever. Check it out. Because I guarantee you will probably have a good time. Because watching this sober is totally a bore. It's torture. And that's all I'm saying.
Andrew, thank you for that rant. I was so excited all day to hear you trash this movie. I bet there's gonna be more trashing, but now it's my turn. I'll continue with what I find negative of the movie. You have some good point. Yeah, you have some good points. How it feels like an animated movie. It feels outdated. We'll get into that at another time discussing that. But the biggest problem for me is that the story takes itself way too seriously. With all these angelical cats, Rummikub Tom the Curious Cat, the McCavity, the Railway Cat, I forget his name. That is just, it's so much. It's like they assume you know these characters already. Well, yes, Cats has been around for 40 years now. Yes, to the older demographics, they already know these characters. They can identify with them. But for the younger generation who really has no experience with cats, they have no idea what this vocabulary is, these names, what an angelical cat is, what's the point of it. If it wasn't for me doing some research, I wouldn't even know what these things are. I will say the cast tries their best with the material they're given. I don't think that it's any of their faults, because Rebel Wilson was told, you know what, just do you. Be at you 110%. My biggest thing, what kills this movie, is the character designs and the lack of a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'm sorry, a third one. It's not a fun movie. This is a movie with getting into how Cats has been around for so long. This is a movie that it honestly feels like Avengers Infinity War. I never thought I would compare Cats to Avengers Infinity War, but they're treating McCavity as if he's Thanos, especially how they use the Dustin effect. Every time Idris Elba vanishes away, he always yells meow, which is too funny. And then characters just pop up out of nowhere. Literally every single character, there's no introduction to anyone. They just show up. There is, and I wrote this down, there is a line when you had Rummikub Tug, the Curious Cat, played by Jason Derulo and Rebel Wilson. I really wish I knew where. Okay, so Rebel Wilson says, "Let's get out of here," and then the very next line, bad editing by the way, is Jason Derulo jumping and going, "Let's dance."
Can I tell you what I think was the most weirdest part of this whole movie? I don't know what was weirder. The parts of
what's the
I don't know
weirdest
what's
part?
weird. The parts of when they're sniffing that cat's butt all the time, or the part where Idris Elba takes his jacket off and he looks like he's naked.
Oh, he looks. Yeah, he is a character that.
And I liked his costume. I thought he had the coolest costume out of the whole thing, and it just killed it when he takes it off. It's just horrifying. I'm like, dude, put some clothes on, man.
Anytime characters have clothes on, they look a little better.
That's what they should have done too. They all should have
Corden.
clothes on. It just looked weird when they were not having clothes. It just did.
I'll even say this with James Corden. When he first popped up, he had the little top hat on, he had a little vest. Honestly, you know what? He's honestly pretty fun in this movie. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's being silly and all that. Then he took off the hat, he took off the thing, and he's butt-ass naked, and he starts eating. And
his part was so funny until the whole until that whole part where he's in the dumpster eating crap. It just
until he gets to the back alley.
That was dumb. He knew what he was doing, and it was just dumb what they made him do in this movie.
So I think overall I think if this movie was at least fun, it was a fun movie to watch.
I think if they at least updated the music,
I can forgive some things,
made the music better, or just redid it, or something, added something a little more to it, I think it would have been fun. I
would disagree with that, because I don't think the music is the issue. It's just how they're woven together. It doesn't make any sense. Literally, before I saw it a second time, I went on YouTube, and on the Fandango movie clips, they have the 10 clips from like any movie. They pick 10 clips and they do it for like 1 to 10. I watched that and I'm like, I feel like I just saw the movie. It is literally a movie that works as separate videos, but they do not intertwine together. You mentioned Victoria, Frances Haywood, the main white cat. She has no purpose in this movie.
No, she doesn't.
There is no reason she is the main character.
She's useless in this movie. She's like Captain Phasma. She's just useless.
No, she is worse. Captain Phasma at least had some things to do. Here, she literally she barely says anything. She only sings as a background character, and and the majority of her spoken lines are questions. What's an angelical cat? Not gonna answer that.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that over there? I don't know. Like, how do you, like, again, so a little insight on the Broadway show. Victoria isn't a main character. She's a background character. She's literally just the center point of the stage just to identify with. She's the white cat. It's like, okay, I could follow her around. Here, they expanded her role as like every single second you see her and you're following her. She gets lost from the goop and all that. But she has zero personality. I cannot describe a single word about her. She has nothing to offer. She has zero chemistry with every single person. I'm not saying, I do not want to say Frances Haywood is a bad actress, because this is not her fault.
No, it's not her fault. It was the choices that the creators made.
I want to see her in a real movie. Yeah. But I don't even know, like, her and Mr. Mistopheles, the magic cat, were they supposed to have like a romance together?
Yeah, that's what I was weirded too. I felt like she was. It was so hard to keep track of it because it seemed like she was having a little romance with everyone in this movie. So I can't keep track of it. But I did wonder at that moment, maybe she likes that cat more. I just had no clue what was happening.
You also have Munchkins. I definitely said that name wrong, but he's played by Robbie Fairchild. He's like the cat that, like, he's always just there, but he never really introduces himself or plays a big. He's just kind of always like in the background, just kind of dancing. But I don't know. This is getting. I don't know what happened with this movie.
No.
It's a movie that it could honestly, because when I first saw it, I didn't see the Broadway show.
Yeah, me either.
I went in blind. And I'm like, what the hell was this? I think you too. You didn't see it either. Going in, like, I had no clue what was going on. I was just kind of there for the ride and giggling on it. Then I saw the Broadway show, and it made a little more sense. At first, I was like, "How? I have no idea how they could have fixed this movie." Yes, which little teaser. We'll get into that. We'll get into that next. I can tell you, Andrew. I can make you, and I can describe to you how they should have done this movie right.
All right, I'm all ears. I'm all ears to hear it. But I think either way, it still would have been a bad movie. But convince me. I tell you I want to be convinced.
I will convince you.
All right.
So stay tuned. Okay. Anyway, so we got the good, we got the bad. Before we get to the score, Andrew, is there? Actually, no. I'm sorry. I gotta interrupt you. The ending. The ending is trash. It literally goes on.
I thought it was
goes
on
for 5 extra minutes.
I mean, come on. It was,
No, because how the ending. Not to spoil it, in case anyone hasn't seen it, wants to. It's the same ending as the musical, where you have, I keep forgetting her name.
Judi Dench.
Old Romney talking to them and telling them like how you learned about the story of the cat, this is how you treat your cat, you have to have them names, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work for this movie because we're not watching it on stage. So when Judi Dench just looks right at the camera, starts talking to you, it is uncomfortable. And what she's saying is like, you cannot say that. Because one, I don't think these are cats. These are human-cat hybrids that are the size. We didn't even talk about the size. The size of them are very distracting.
Yeah, I feel like at times it gets offbeat in terms of like the set and the size of the set, because sometimes they almost look like they're the exact
How don't they know
size.
what the size of a cat looks like?
Yeah.
Literally, take a cat. That's the size of a cat. Why are they honestly look, they're the size what the mice should have been. Like, they're that small.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to you, Andrew, is there any final things you want to say before you wrap things up?
I think you should watch this movie drunk, and I think you'll have a good time. That's all I could say.
Well, I can't disagree with you there. So anyway, as always, we're going to try, and we're at the score, we're going to try and guess each other's scores. Now, Andrew, I'm going to guess yours first.
Okay, go.
I'm going to say you have not said, your positives are very minimal. I'm going to say you're going to give this a 2 out of 10.
You are correct. I am giving it a 2 out of 10. All right, let's talk about your score, Colin.
I thought you were going to say something else. Okay.
Yeah, this movie's terrible. Sorry. All right, Colin, you're up. I think you're going to get this movie a little bit higher because you gave it some praise about the visual effects and all that, and how you believe there could have been some potential to it. So I think you're going to give it a 3 out of 10.
So, when I first saw this movie, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, no.
I thought it wasn't as bad as everyone said. How there were some redeeming things about it, and I think it was worth a ironic watch. Then I watched it again, and damn, Andrew, you were right. This is a 3 out of 10 movie.
Yes!
Yeah, we're getting good at this.
We are.
This is just
we're
such
good
a,
at guessing our scores.
This was such a misguided attempt
Yeah.
at a Broadway musical. Now, we're going to tease. The next thing we're going to do, Andrew, I teased it earlier. Look out for, I'm going to give into why the Broadway show works and how they could have made this movie better. And Andrew, I'm going to convince you.
Oh,
this is going to happen. I'm going to bring you on to the other side.
I can't wait. Yeah.
All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for watching.
And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on SoundCloud. We're everywhere. Tell your friends, your neighbors, the people you don't like. Tell them all.
Not even the people you like, just the people you don't like.
Yeah, just tell anybody, man. Just tell
everyone
them that
everyone.
we're out here
will...
on YouTube giving movie reviews, telling the good, the bad, the score. And I'm Andrew.
And I'm Collin.
Have a nice day and stay safe and wash your hands.
Stay safe, everyone. Wash your hands.